A long, long time ago, there was a big kingdom ruled by a king and queen. They had one child, a princess named Adise. Adise was a lovely young lady, with skin as smooth as cocoa butter, and eyes that shone like black diamonds. But Adise never smiled or laughed, no matter what. This made the king very sad and worried. He wanted his princess to be happy and filled with joy. In those days, kings and queens would often make special announcements called decrees. The king decided to make a big decree about Princess Adise. He called all his advisors and important people to the throne room one sunny morning. "My friends," the king announced in a loud voice. "I am worried about my daughter, the princess. She never laughs or even smiles. A child's laughter is like sweet music to my ears, but I never hear it from Adise." The advisors nodded sadly, for they too had noticed the princess's seriousness. "What shall we do, Your Majesty?" they asked. "I am making a new decree," proclaimed the king. "Any prince from any kingdom who can make Princess Adise laugh will be allowed to marry her, and become the next king of our lands." The advisors gasped at this surprising decree. They could hardly imagine any prince being able to make the solemn princess laugh. Word of the decree soon spread far and wide across the kingdoms. Before long, princes from near and far began arriving at the palace gates. They came on horses and camels, in grand carriages or even by foot. All sought the opportunity to marry the princess and inherit the kingdom. Each prince put on an elaborate show, trying their best joke, dance or trick to make Princess Adise laugh. Jesters twisted themselves into odd shapes and told funny stories with ridiculous voices. Acrobats tumbled and leapt through the air. Dancers shook and shimmied with feathers and masks. Yet through it all, Princess Adise's expression never changed. She watched stone-faced, not even cracking a single smile at the most hilarious or daring performances. After a few weeks, the princes began slinking away disappointed and embarrassed at having failed. Who could possibly make this humorless princess laugh? Just when it seemed all hope was lost, a new prince arrived at the palace one sunny afternoon. His name was Prince Ekin, and he hailed from a distant land. Astride a proud stallion, Ekin was a striking figure, tall with smooth brown skin, a chiseled jaw, and eyes that twinkled with mischief. "I have heard of the king's decree," Ekin announced boldly. "And I vow to be the one who finally makes the princess laugh." The king's advisors raised their eyebrows skeptically. This young prince seemed confident, but they had seen the efforts of many failed princes before him. Still, Prince Ekin was given a chance to try his luck. He was shown to a palace courtyard where Princess Adise sat watching from a balcony above. Ekin wasted no time launching into his comedic routine. He juggled scarves and fruit, tossed them high into the air before catching them behind his back. He danced a silly jig, shaking his head and sticking out his tongue. He even dressed in a silly costume as a court jester, telling jokes in buzzing voices and making his face look hilariously distorted. But just like the princes before, Ekin's efforts had no effect. Princess Adise remained unmoved and didn't so much as crack a smile at his antics. Refusing to accept defeat, Prince Ekin decided to take a different approach. Even though his first attempts failed, Prince Ekin was not ready to give up. He wanted more than anything to be the one who made the serious Princess Adise laugh. Ekin started closely watching Adise, trying to learn about her likes and dislikes. He noticed that while she ignored the foolish entertainers, Adise's face brightened whenever the playful little monkeys from the palace gardens came around. "Aha!" Ekin said to himself. "The princess seems to enjoy those funny monkeys. Perhaps I can make her laugh by acting like a monkey myself." Ekin spent the next few days masterfully creating a realistic monkey costume. He used soft brown fur fabric and stuffed it to make his body look furry all over. He even fashioned a long bendy tail and a mask with monkey ears. When his outfit was complete, Ekin snuck out to the palace gardens where the real monkeys lived, swinging from the branches and trees. Adise was sitting on a balcony overhead, as usual wearing a glum expression. Suddenly, Ekin leapt out from behind a bush, fully decked out in his monkey costume. He started screeching and hollering like a monkey, scratching his armpits and belly with his monkey arms. He bounded across the grass on all fours, chasing after the real monkeys. At first, Adise didn't react much, merely raising an eyebrow at the bizarre sight of the monkey prince. But then Ekin really started hamming it up, swinging from vine to vine, and picking pretend bugs out of his fur to eat. That's when Adise's stoic face finally cracked. She covered her mouth, but Ekin could see her shoulders shaking as if suppressing laughter. He was onto something. Encouraged, Ekin took his monkey act even further. He grabbed a servant boy and started grooming him like a monkey would, running his hands through the poor boy's hair and picking at his clothes looking for pretend fleas. Adise couldn't contain it any longer. She threw her head back and guffawed loudly. The peals of laughter echoed through the palace gardens as the princess slapped her knee, finding Ekin's ridiculous monkey routine utterly hysterical. Other servants and advisors rushed over to see what was happening. There was Princess Adise, the solemn girl who never laughed, grasping her belly and guffawing fit to burst. The king himself came running at the commotion. When he saw his daughter doubled over with mirth, his eyes grew wide with joy. Finally, his decree had been fulfilled. This strange monkey prince had accomplished what no other could. "You did it, sir," the king exclaimed, grasping Ekin's arm. "You have made my daughter laugh. What is your name?" Ekin pulled off his monkey mask, revealing his cheerful grinning face. "I am Prince Ekin, your majesty. And I am delighted to have brought laughter to the princess." From that day forward, the king declared that Ekin would marry Adise and eventually inherit the kingdom. The once gloomy princess was now freed from her self-imposed seriousness, giggling and chuckling thanks to her new husband's playful spirit. Ekin continued employing his clever monkey ways to keep Adise smiling and joyful. For he knew that laughter could cure even the heaviest of hearts. After making Princess Adise finally laugh with his silly monkey routine, Prince Ekin was praised as a hero in the kingdom. King Okon was overjoyed that someone had broken through his daughter's serious shell. "You have brought joy to my heart and the kingdom with your humor," King Okon told Ekin. "In keeping with my royal decree, you shall marry my daughter Adise." Ekin was elated to marry the beautiful princess he had worked so hard to make smile. However, Adise herself seemed less enthusiastic about wedding this peculiar monkey prince. "But father, must I really marry him?" Adise asked with a frown. "His ridiculous antics were silly, but I am a princess worthy of a noble prince." King Okon would not be swayed. Ekin has shown he is a prince with a good heart and laughter in his soul. Those are qualities just as noble as riches or status. You will marry him. So preparations began for a grand wedding ceremony fit for a princess. Tailors were hired to sew elegant robes and gowns. Cooks baked extravagant feasts with meats, yams, and rice dishes. On the day of the wedding, the entire kingdom gathered in the palace courtyard as Ekin arrived dressed in splendid white robes and a yellow turban. Princess Adise emerged looking breathtaking in an ornate pink gown covered with golden embroidery. Ekin grinned from ear to ear as Adise glided up the aisle towards him. But the princess's face stayed resolute, with no hint of joy or mirth. The ceremony proceeded with the couple exchanging vows and rings. But just as they were pronounced husband and wife, Ekin startled everyone by letting out a raucous monkey screech. Adise flinched in surprise, then glared at her new husband. But Ekin just winked one mischievous eye and started scratching under his armpits like a monkey. That did it. Adise could no longer restrain herself. She threw her head back and cackled with laughter, tears streaming down her cheeks. Ekin had worked his magic once again. From that day forward, the palace rang with the peals of Princess Adise's joyful laughter constantly. Ekin made it his mission to find new ways to make his wife smile every single day. He played tricks like replacing ceremonial tea with hot leaf juice, so the stuffy advisors all puckered their lips. Or he brought home a baby monkey to make faces at Adise while she tried to work. Sometimes his antics went too far, like the time he ground hot peppers into the bath salts, making them both run around the palace in just their undergarments fanning their burning eyes and mouths. But even then, Adise would double over in hysterics. Her laughter was the most beautiful music to Ekin. As the years went on, Ekin succeeded King Okon, and he made Adise his queen. But she remained the queen who laughed thanks to her husband's silly spirit and sense of fun. Their children grew up in a household filled with constant chuckles and chortles. Ekin made sure they appreciated the healing power of humor and laughter. And whenever Adise felt stressed from royal duties, all Ekin had to do was unleash a loud monkey screech, and his wife would dissolve into giggles once more. For he had officially banished the shadows of gloom from her life for good. From then on, the people of the kingdom basked in the presence of their joyful queen Adise, and her laughter rang out for all to hear. All thanks to the determination of one funny monkey prince.